Okay, and this lesson is going to be on data handling. Now, as you can see, I've already started a question. This is a very typical sort of question that you might get. So this is a bar chart, and the bar chart is of the number of people in a shop. And as you can see, it's done on different days of the week. And the scale at the side is in twos, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And the little dotted lines here are just to help you line up where the bars go. Okay, so the very easiest question would be on what day were there most people in the shop? Okay, and there you just look for the biggest bar. Well, that's a small one, that's a small one. This is the biggest bar, and therefore this is 10. So for question 1, the answer, so for question number 1, the answer would be 10 people. Another question would be, what day would there be the lowest number of people in the shop? And here the answer would be Tuesday. The answer would be, yes, Tuesday. Okay. I've just thought, if question number 1, if it says on what day were there most people in the shop, the answer isn't 10, of course. The answer is Monday. So let's get that right, shall we? Another question would be, if it says how many people were there in the shop on its busiest day. Okay, now that sounds like the same as question 1. But how many people, if we're asking how many people, then the answer is, of course, 10, because it's saying how many people. So there's 10 people. So the answer to question 3 is 10 people. By the way, these aren't question number 1, 2 and 3 in the document that you will have opened at the bottom of the page. These are just parts of the question for this. This is just an example question. Another question, and these questions are here to catch you out, remember. They would ask you about either Tuesday or Wednesday. Now, as you can see, let's take Wednesday. On Wednesday, there are 2, 4, 6. Now, what some children do is they think, right, 2, 4, 6, and then there's only half a step between, I'll shade it in actually. And so they might be tempted to say 6.5, but of course you can't have half a person. And anyway, if you draw a line along here, it's difficult to draw a straight line without a ruler, then you get to this point here, and anybody can see that between 6 and 8 the answer is 7. Okay, so if it says how many on Wednesday, the answer would be 7. Do read the scale very carefully. The next kind of question would be, how many more people were there on Wednesday than on Tuesday? Well, let's have a look. On Wednesday there were 7, which we've just said, and how many more means you have to do a subtraction. So therefore on Tuesday there was, remember, this isn't half, this is 1. This is one whole person. So we're doing 7 minus 1, and obviously the answer to that is 6. Now I'm using fairly easy numbers here because I don't want you to get too bogged down with having to sort of work out the numbers and do that sort of thing. In the document in your on the website, the numbers will be quite a lot more difficult. So how many more were there on Wednesday than on Tuesday? Another answer, which is another sort of question rather, which is doing a similar kind of thing, is it might say how many fewer. It might use the word fewer or less. So it might say how many fewer on Thursday than on Wednesday. Well, on Thursday there's 2, and on Wednesday there was 7. But don't think you can just do, right, okay, 2 minus 7, because obviously the answer is minus 5, and you can't have minus 5 people in a shop. So let's cross that out. So it is, of course, 7 minus 2, and then the answer truly is 5. Another type of question is they might say how many people were there in the shop on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday all together. And when you hear the word all together, then you need to think about addition. Another question is they might say on Friday there were 3 people, and they will ask you to shade this in. Now obviously that's going to be a bit difficult for you if you haven't got this printed out on paper, and I know lots and lots of you have not got printers, so don't worry about that. If you can't do any particular part of the question because you haven't got it printed out, then don't worry, just miss that bit out. So if it said on Friday there were 3 people, then that's how high you would draw the bar. Another type of question is they might say how many days, so let's write this down, how many days. So they might say on how many days were there more than 5 people in the shop. Okay, so well, on Monday there was more than 5 people, so that's 1. And not Tuesday, Wednesday there was, not Thursday, not Friday, so therefore on Monday and Wednesday. But because it's saying how many days, the answer has to be a number 2. Okay. However, if they say on which days, okay, then the question is actually asking you for the actual names of the days. So if it says on which days were there more than 5 people in the shop, you would say Monday and Wednesday, and you would actually write those down. Monday and Wednesday. Okay, so now we've shifted to a different kind of question that you might have on data handling, and what they might give you is they might give you a timetable, as we can see here, and then they might start asking you questions about how long particular things are, that sort of thing. So for example, they might say, they might ask you, how long is the morning maths lesson? Now we can see that the morning maths lesson starts at 9:15 and then finishes at 9:45. And I'm just in the way there, aren't I? You can't see. Okay, 9:15 and 9:45. And this isn't too difficult, but what you could do is you could just use a number line. So from 9:15, if you count up 5 minutes, you get to 9:20. And then if you count up another 20 minutes, you get to 9:40, like that. And then if you count up another 5 minutes, you get to 9:45. So 20 plus 5 plus 5, the answer is 30 minutes altogether. Now another thing they could do is, let's just rub off this here. So they might leave, I've just realised that I have spelled English wrong, which is just disastrous. English, L-I-S-H, sorry about that. So another thing is that they might leave a gap here. So they might have 9:45 maths and then something here and then English. So they might tell you that the maths lesson is, let's say, 50 minutes, 50 minutes long, and then you would have to work out when does the English lesson start. So then you could just say, right, okay, maths starts at 9:45, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add 50 and get to the time that the English lesson starts. Now adding 50 is a bit tricky when you're talking about time, because you've got to think about the hours and stuff like that. So what we'll do is we'll add 15 first, and you will see why we're adding 15. Because 15, if we add 15 to 9:45, it looks like we get 9:60, don't we? But of course there are 60 minutes in an hour. So therefore, if we add 15 to 9:45, we do in fact come to 10 o'clock. Okay? Now, the next we can add all in one go. The maths lesson, we were told, is 50 minutes long. and we've already taken up 15 minutes. So if we do 50, take away 15, that gives us 35. So that gives us 35 more minutes left. So in this part, we have to add 35 minutes, and then we go from 10 up to 10, 35, and that, boys and girls, is when the English lesson starts, which is just the answer here. Okay.